Hi there, my name is Becky Ford. I'm with MSCR Fitness, and today we are doing simple strength. I have just a couple of introductory comments to make. First is equipment. If you're at home, which hopefully you are staying safe, you'll want a good sturdy chair, ideally something with a flat bottom and back that you can sit upright in. You want a water bottle. If you have ankle weights, you can use those. If you don't, an easy alternative is a pair of socks with beans inside, or rice, or anything heavy, and then tying the socks together in a knot. If you have weights, you'll want a heavier and a lighter pair. If you don't have weights, that's not a problem, as long as you're moving your body. That's the important thing. You can use things like canned goods, anything that you can get a firm grip on that's going to be safe for you. You'll also want good tennis shoes, something with a nice firm grip. Ideally, you'll be doing this on a hardwood surface, something where you're not going to slip. If you are on carpet, when you're moving, you really want to make sure that you're lifting your feet up so that your feet don't stick and make you fall on that carpet. The most important thing about this exercise is that you do what's okay for your body. So particularly if you haven't been very active over the last couple days, really make sure that you're tuning in, you're listening to what your body's okay with. Of course, you can always modify what I'm doing. You can go slower or smaller. You can have bent levers instead of long levers. Bent levers are easier. So just making sure that you're adapting and you're doing what's okay with your body. And of course, if a doctor or physical therapist has told you not to do something, then don't do it, even if I do it. So let's stay safe and have fun. I'm going to record without music to make it easier for you to listen. So of course, if you have fun music that you want to put in the background, absolutely go ahead and do that. So I'll start by putting my tools to the side. We're going to get warmed up. So to start, we're just walking in place, letting your hands swing, shoulders nice and soft, lifting your knees up, just getting a feel for letting your body move again. As we're doing this, your belly's tucked in, heart's lifted up tall, shoulders relaxed. And now adding a little bit, let your opposite hand come to your knee. So your knee comes straight up and your hand crosses over. Make sure that knee doesn't drift in. Again, keeping your belly tight, heart lifted tall. I like to tell my class, if you're breathing and moving, you're doing it right. So making sure that you're not holding your breath, but that you're letting it flow in and out. We're shifting now to a heel lift, so your knees stay down. They can even stay touching each other as your heel comes up. Feeling the back of your body start to wake up a little bit here. Feel those hamstrings working. Making sure as you're doing this that your knees are staying down instead of letting them drift forward or up, keeping them down and back. And back to opposite hand to knee. Again, keeping that belly tucked in and strong. Shifting back to heels up, this time bringing your hands up as well. Keeping that belly strong, using your hamstrings, the back of your upper thighs, not your low back, to do the work here. One more time, back to opposite hand to knee. Maybe you want to lift your knee a little bit higher or swing your hands a little bit more. Some of these moves might be unfamiliar to you, so as the class continues, if it feels like you have to struggle to understand what's going on, that's okay. Giving your brain a workout as well as your body is a good thing. And last time, back to heels up, this time hands out to the side and down like a bird flapping its wings. Remember, shorter levers are easier, so if you need to adapt, feel free to do that. Keeping those knees down, belly tucked in and strong. 3, 2, and walk in place. Walking is nature's reset button. It's the place we can come back to. Shifting now to half jacks, one foot's going to stay stuck on the ground as you step out with the other foot. The bigger the motion, the more vigorous the exercise. So you can go low and slow, or you can go big and strong, whatever works for your body. 3, 2, switching sides. Now your other foot is stuck to the ground as you're stepping out to the side. Keeping the shoulders down, lifting with the outer part of the upper arm. Now we're going to alternate. 3, 2, alternating sides. You always have one foot attached to the ground here. Adding a little complexity, your feet are going to keep going, but your hands are going to go forward and back. 3, 2, hands forward and back. Especially if you haven't done this one before, it's going to be confusing, and that's okay. Three, 2, back to a walk. And hopefully your heart's beating a little faster, you're breathing a little bit harder. We're going to do a little combination work now. 3 times, opposite hand to knee. 3 times, heel up. 1, 2, 3, heel. 2, 3, knee. 2, 3, heel. 2, 3, knee. 2, 3. Keep going. You might notice you've been starting with the same knee as you're coming forward and the same heel. So we're going to switch. Start with your other knee. 2, 3. Other heel. 2, 3. Again, keeping your belly strong, hearts lifted tall. Keep breathing. One more set of each. Last one. 3, 2, back to a walk. All right, so now that we're nice and warmed up, we're going to pull our chair in and do some other exercises. You may have found while you're at home that you're doing a lot more sitting, but we're going to sit, but we're going to make it hard. So the first thing you do, bring your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Let the backs of your legs touch the front of the chair. Lifting up tall, you're going to press your hips back as you slowly sink down. Engaging your glutes. And drift, not pop. Scooch to the front of your chair, pull your feet under you. Lean forward, nose over toes. If you need your hands for support, you can do that. If you want a little more challenge, let your hands come up like a pterodactyl. Slowly standing up, pushing your heels into the ground, squeezing your glutes. Sitting back down again. Back of the legs touching the chair, drifting down. Keep breathing. Feeling those glutes do the work. Scooching forward, feet under you, lean forward, nose over toes. More challenge, lifting your hands up, squeezing those glutes. This is one case where going slower makes it more difficult. So again, doing what's okay for your body. Paying attention especially to your knees. Making sure that your hips are pressed back, that your glutes and big thigh muscles are doing the work. Scooching forward, feet under you, lean forward, nose over toes, pushing your way up, nice and slow. using those glute muscles. Sitting again. Drifting down. Remember, you're sitting, not flopping. Those last couple inches are the hardest and the most important. Leaning forward, squeeze your glutes to do the work to lift you up. Think about going up, not out, using muscles rather than momentum. Last set, drifting down, breathing. And last one, coming forward, feet under you. Lean forward, nose over toes, pushing your feet into the ground, squeezing your glutes to lift yourself up. Great, then coming behind your chair, we're going to do toe raises. So you're coming up on your toes and drifting down. You have a hold of the chair so that it's providing balance and support. This is slow and steady. Your toes stay connected to the ground. You can imagine that, oh, there's some toilet paper under your toes. You don't want to let it get away. So keeping those toes connected to the ground as your heels slowly drift up and drift back down. 2 more if that feels okay for your body. Nice and slow and steady on the way down as well as on the way up. And walk a little. Great, this next one, the key is keeping your hips still. First, I'll tell you what not to do. Don't do that. See how my hips are doing all the work? Don't do that. Instead, you want to keep your hips as still as you can as you lift either one set of toes at a time or both toes. So the goal here is to make your shins and ankles, maybe even the tops of your feet, do the work. If your hips are moving, your hips are working. So you want your hips to be still as your toes lift up. Keep breathing. And again, you can alternate and do one set of toes at a time if doing 2 sets of toes at a time makes your hips move. Keeping those hips still. 3, 2, 1, and walk in place. There are all kinds of variations. You can do toe raises with your feet together or your feet a little bit apart. Lots of ways that you can work those muscles. So 1 more set, either feet together, feet hip distance apart, or feet wide. Coming up on your toes and drifting back down. Keep breathing. Muscles are really good at figuring out the easy way to do things. So when you shift it up a little bit, when you do things differently, it gives your body a different and new way to learn and grow. Keep breathing, keeping those toes connected to the ground. Again, making sure that as you drift down, it's the same pace that you're using when you're drifting up. Nice and slow. 2 more. Keep breathing. And walk a little. This is a great exercise to do in front of a mirror if you have one, so that you can see that your hips are staying still as you're lifting your toes up. So again, either lifting both sets of toes, or if you find that your hips move too much, you can move 1 set of toes at a time. This is a really good exercise for building up your balance, particularly your ability to walk on uneven surfaces, lifting your toe to get over that, say, transition between carpet and hardwood, or uneven surfaces like sidewalks. Really good for balance here. 3, 2, 1, and again, walking in place. Great. Our next exercise, lifting up tall. Again, you want to keep your hips still as your heel comes out to the side and back down. What we tend to do is let our toe drift off toward the corner. Instead, you want to make sure that your feet stay parallel or even a little pigeon-toed. So lifting up tall out of the hip you're standing on, keep that knee soft, but your heel come out to the side and down. So again, that chair is there for you to help you stay upright for balance. I'm going to move mine a little to the side so that you can see what I'm doing. Noticing my feet are staying parallel here. Feeling this in the glute muscles rather than the front of the thigh. Make your glutes do the work to lift that heel up. 2 more. Last one on this side. And back to a walk. Shifting to the other side. If you've done this at home and you've watched this video a couple of times, it's a good idea to switch which side you start with, because the hip of the leg you're standing on is also doing work. So by the time I get to this hip, once I've already worked the other side, it's already tired. So it's a good idea to alternate which one you start with. Again, you're lifting up tall, your upper body is staying upright. The knee of the leg you're standing on is soft. Feet are staying parallel or even a little pigeon-toed, lifting that heel up and out. This is another exercise where slower is harder. So in a controlled pace, 2 more. Keep breathing. And if I say 2 more and your body's done, your body can be done. That is totally fine. Really listening to what your body's okay with. Good, switching back to our first side. This time, instead of going straight out, we're going to go back at a 45-degree angle. Lifting up tall, tucking your belly in. Keep your abdomen strong, using your glutes and hamstrings, not your low back. Making sure that your low back is protected by keeping your belly strong here. Upper body stays upright. Keep breathing. 2 more. These muscles are important for balance and for low back health. And back to a walk. Switching now to the other side. Lifting up tall, the knee of the leg you're standing on is soft. Letting that heel come back at a 45-degree angle while your belly stays tucked in and strong. Keep breathing. Again, you're making sure you're using your glutes and your hamstrings, not your low back, to do the work here. Two more. And back to a walk. This next exercise is for balance. The chair is there to help you. So you're going to put one foot directly in front of the other. They're going to be stacked. If standing here, even with the chair next to you, feels really wobbly, then you're going to offset your feet just a little bit. If having your feet offset with a hand on the chair feels like super easy, then you can bring your feet so that they're directly toe in front of heel. You can have your nice firm grip on your chair, or if you want a little more challenge, if this feels easy, you can have just a couple fingers, or just a finger, or just a hovering hand. So as we're standing here, you might notice different parts of your body twitching or moving to do the work. You might feel it in your hips, or your knees, or your ankles. Be aware of what part of your body is doing the work to keep you upright here. And breathing. If your tongue is pressed against the roof of your mouth, it's doing more work than it needs to. You can let it soften and relax. You're doing great. Just 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and walk in place. In general, the back leg, the back hip tends to do a little bit more work than the front. So you might find that you have one side that's a little bit stronger and the other side that's a little bit harder. So now you're going to put your other foot forward. Again, heel to toe or a little offset if you need it to be a little easier. You can have a nice firm grip, or some fingers, or a finger, or a hovering hand. Your knees are soft, weight evenly distributed front to back. Let your shoulders relax, lifting up tall through your spine, and breathe. Again, noticing which parts of your body are doing the work here to keep you balanced. You might find as you're doing this that you can hold this pose for longer and longer. So we're starting at about 30 seconds. As you're doing this at home, you could pause the video and extend that time to make it a little bit more challenging. Just 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to a walk. Great, this next exercise is another balance exercise. So you want a little bit of space to move. Make sure that you have a clear area. If you can do this on a countertop, you can do that, or if you have a wall, you can trace your hands along the wall, or if your balance is fine, you can just walk. So you're gonna start from one corner, and you're gonna step out to the side with your feet parallel. The longer your steps, the more difficult it is. The more steps you do, the more difficult it is. When you get tired, or when you run out of space, switch directions. So sideways stepping. Your feet are coming together, stepping a foot out. Feet together, step a foot out. Making sure your feet stay parallel, pushing out, using that glute muscle. Good. Imagine your toes are tied together with a rubber band, so they're not going to get very far apart from each other. The heel presses out first. Again, feeling this through your glutes. These are really important for balance. So this exercise will help improve your balance. One more. So again, you want to do this until your hips are tired or you run out of room. And back to a walk. Again, walking is that reset button. Especially feels good for your hips. So we're going to sit and do some exercises. If you have ankle weights, you'll want to put them on now. If you don't have ankle weights, you can use your impromptu sock and bean combination, or you can skip the weights altogether. So if you are using your sock weights, we'll call them, you're going to drape them over the front of your ankle, lifting up tall. The further forward you are in the chair, the more difficult this exercise is. The further back you are in your chair, the easier it is. The key is to stay upright. Shoulders over hips, lifting up tall, belly stays tucked in. Let your toe come up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Lifting up and holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Keeping that body nice and tall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 3 more, if that feels okay for your body. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Last one on this side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Shake your legs out. Switching to the other side. Again, the further forward you are in your chair, the more difficult it is. The further back you are, the easier it is. Lifting up tall, keeping that upper body upright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. If you're counting out loud at home, it means you're breathing. So that's an easy trick to get yourself to make sure you're breathing in and out, is to count out loud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 3 more on this side, feeling those big thigh muscles working. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Shake your legs out. This next exercise, if you have your sock weights, you can put them side by side and put them between your thigh muscles just above the knee joint. So it's not your knee bones themselves, it's the thigh muscles doing the work. If you don't have these sock weights, you could use a pillow or a large roll of toilet paper or paper towel, anything that has some squish, a little bit of give, but that gives you some resistance as well. So holding whatever that object is between your thighs, lifting up tall, you're going to squeeze your thighs together and engage your pelvic floor. Kegels are often what these exercises are called. So you're lifting your pelvic floor up, engaging those muscles. 3, 2, 1, and soften. Shake your thighs out. Lifting up tall, squeezing the sock weight between your thighs, engaging those pelvic floor muscles. Don't hold your breath, keep on breathing, but keep those pelvic floor muscles strong. 3, 2, 1, and soften. Shake those thighs out. Squeezing the thighs, engaging the pelvic floor. Keep breathing here. Jaw stays soft, shoulders relaxed, but those pelvic floor muscles are nice and strong. 3, 2, 1, and soften. 2 more. You can always pause the video and do more sets if it feels like your body's up for that. 3, 2, 1, and soften. Shaking those thighs out. Squeezing your sock weights between your thighs, engaging the pelvic floor, breathing, shoulders relaxed, spine nice and tall, and soften. Last one here. Keep breathing, lifting tall, really focusing on keeping those pelvic floor muscles strong and engaged. 3, 2, 1, and soften. Good, you can bring the sock weights with you if you want, coming to the front of your chair, pull your feet in, hip distance apart, lean forward, nose over toes, squeeze your glutes and push your heels into the ground to push yourself up, and then come around to the back of your chair. So you're going to hook the sock weight, if you have it, over the back of your ankle. If you have ankle weights strapped on, lifting tall out of the hip you're standing on. Try not to slump. Instead, lift up tall. Keep that knee soft. Your knees are going to stay touching as your heel comes up. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Don't let your knee drift forward. Make sure your knees stay touching as your heel comes up. 3, 2, 1, and down. I'm counting for 5 in my head, but talking through some of it. Lifting up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 2 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Still lifting tall out of that hip. Knees stay soft, knees together. 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Shake the sock weight off. Walk a little bit. And switch to the other side. So lifting tall out of that hip you're standing on, knee stays soft, hook the sock weight over the back of your ankle. Having your toe pointed out a little bit will help that ankle weight stay connected. Lifting up tall, knees stay touching. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. 2 more. I notice I've started to speed up in my counting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. We do tend to do that when we get tired and want to be finished. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Shake that sock weight off and walk it off. Great. We're going to move the chair to the side and work a little bit on the wall. Now is a great time to grab a sip of water if you haven't already. We're going to do what are called wall sits. So you're going to come up against the wall, make sure your hips and shoulders are touching the wall, your hands are there for balance. As you sink down, making sure your knees stay behind your toes. The further down your hips are, the more your legs are parallel with the floor, the more difficult it is. So you can start a little bit higher up, or you can sink down a little bit lower, depending on what your body's okay with. You're going to feel this in your thigh muscles. Again, keeping those hips and shoulders nice and tucked against the wall. Chin stays parallel with the floor. Breathing. I'm going to have you shift your weight into your heels. Notice how that changes the exercise. Shift your weight into your toes. Your feet are still on the ground, just more of your weight in your toes. Shifting your weight back to your heels. Shift your weight to your toes. And use the wall to help you push your way back up. Shake those legs out. Shake them out one more time. We're going to do wall push-ups next. So your hands are going to be shoulder distance apart. The further away from the wall your feet are, the more difficult it is. Feet are hip distance apart. As you let your body sink forward, your whole body from the top of your head to your heels is one straight line. If you can, keep your elbows tucked in. Think about standing in a crowded subway and not wanting anyone to touch your elbows. Letting your elbows sink down rather than out focuses on the muscles in the back of the upper arm. Keep breathing. 2 more. Last one. Belly tucked in, back nice and straight. Push your way up and shake your arms out. Lots of variations. You can have wider hands or closer hands. Your feet can be wider or closer. You can stand further away from the wall or closer. Lots of ways to make that interesting and fun. Now if you have hand weights, you're going to grab your heavier hand weights. You can do this either seated or standing. Seated is a little bit easier for the back. If you're standing, you have to make sure that your core is strong. So keeping that belly tucked in, knees soft. If you want a little more support for your back, you can put one foot half a step in front of the other. Palms forward, knees soft, belly tucked in, chin parallel with the floor, bicep curls. Slow and steady. If you're going at twice my pace, you're using more momentum than muscle. So you want to slow things down, steady drifting up, steady drifting down. Nice tall spine breathing. If you want, you can pair your breathing with the work. So you're inhaling when it's easier and exhaling when it's harder. Breathing. Easy and soft, nice and slow. 2 more. Good, set one of those heavier weights down. Again, with 1 foot half a step forward for extra low back support, you're going to hold the weight on either side, coming from your heart height up and out at a 45-degree angle to your eye height. Keeping your belly tucked in and strong. This is as much abdominal work as it is work for the arms. Stabilizing with your core as you're reaching in front of you. Think about putting groceries away, reaching for those nice dishes up in the top cupboard, breathing. 1 more. And down. Grab that other weight. Again, 1 foot half a step forward, this time alternating bicep curls. So as one hand drifts up, the other hand drifts down. You have to use your core muscles a little bit differently to stabilize here. Keep breathing. Slow and steady. Your elbows are the pivot point, so your upper arms aren't really moving. The muscles of the upper arms are doing the work. Keep breathing. Three, 2, 1, and down. Good. Setting aside one of those weights. 1 foot half a step forward. Your hips and shoulders are going to stay pointed forward toward the front of the room. Holding your weight on either side, you're going to come up and out to the side and back down. Feel your side waist muscles doing the work to support you here. Again, maybe exhaling when it's harder and inhaling when it's easier. Hips and shoulders stay pointed forward as your hands move to the side. One more. And down. Shake one arm out, all the way up to the shoulder, and shake the other arm out, all the way up to the shoulder. Shifting out to the other side, again, 1 foot, half a step forward. Hips and shoulders stay pointed forward as your hands come up and out to the side, and back down. Feeling those sideways muscles do the work to support you here. Breathing, jaw stay soft, soft knees. Nice strong core. Two more if that feels okay for your body. And down. This next option, you have two choices. You can either do a standing exercise or you can use the chair. So if you're standing, you're going to be in a lunge, 1 foot forward, the other foot back, toes at a 45-degree angle. Leaning forward, your body weight rests on the thigh of the front leg as you tuck your elbow in and up. Let your pinky come up toward the ceiling and back down. So the key here is that your upper arm stays totally still. Like there's a little bird resting on it and you don't want to disturb it. The upper arm stays still as your elbow is the pivot point. You can keep doing that in a standing position, or you can do this in a seated position, which is a little bit easier. So pulling that chair back in. Hinging forward, belly stays strong, elbow tucked in, letting your pinky come up. So either the chair can do the work to hold you up, or your body can do the work, depending on what feels best for you. Whether you're seated or standing, you want to make sure that that upper arm stays still. Two more. Use your legs, not your back, to push yourself up and shake out that working arm. So again, you can do the seated or standing. Shifting to the other side. If you're standing, you're in that lunge. Body weight resting on your thigh, elbow tucked in as your pinky comes up toward the ceiling and down. If you're seated, making sure you're toward the edge of the chair so your fingers don't hit. Elbow tucked in and up like a chicken wing. Bring the pinky up and back down. Keeping your neck in neutral. Making sure that your head's not pulled way up or tucked way down. Keeping the neck safe here. Breathing, two more. Using your legs, not your back, to push yourself up, shake that arm out. Grabbing your lighter weights. Again, you can do this seated or standing. Lifting tall, shoulders relaxed. You're making sure that you're using not your shrugging muscles. Instead, you're using the outer part of your upper arm, the deltoid muscles, to do the work. Knees are soft, feet hip distance apart, spine tall, shoulders back. Let your hands drift up and out to the side and back down. So again, you're not feeling the tops of your shoulders. Instead, you're using that outer upper third of your upper arm. Breathing. This is one of those exercises where you really have to pay attention to what your shoulder is okay with. So going up just a little bit is okay. Breathing the whole time, jaw stays soft. Two more. And shake your arms out. All the way up to the shoulder, nice and loose. This next exercise, again, you have two options. You can use both your weights at the same time, or you can use just one arm at a time. You can use heavier or lighter weights, depends on what feels okay for your body. So again, if you're standing, 1 foot, half a step in front of the other. If you're seated, making sure your belly's tucked in, your spine is straight. Bringing your weights to your shoulders, pressing up, using your belly, not the back, to support you. Again, you can do this with one arm at a time or with both arms. It depends on what feels okay for your body. Really listening to what those shoulders are okay with. One more. So if you've been doing just one arm at a time, you can either pause your video or pause and rewind it and do the other side. Setting your weights down, shake those arms out. One more time with the lighter weights. Using your deltoids, the outer part of your upper arm to do the work. Feet are hip distance apart, knees soft, belly tucked in, spine long. As the arms drift up and drift back down. Keeping your jaw soft. Again, if your tongue is pressed against the roof of your mouth, it's doing more work than it needs to. Two more. Good. Setting those weights down. Shake your arms out all the way up to the top. Feet hip distance apart, knees soft. You're going to let your hips move with you. Make sure that you're not twisting your knees as you let your arms swing from one side to the other. Breathing. If you find yourself getting dizzy, you can keep your eyes fixed on one place. Otherwise, your head can move with your body. 3, 2, 1, back to center. Good, letting your hands swing forward and back like they're on a swing set. Whee! Use momentum, really almost effortless here as you're letting your arms move through their range of motion. And then letting your hands scissor across, alternating which hand is on top. Breathing. Three, 2, 1, and down. Using your chair for balance one more time. Lifting up tall, keeping your hips still. The hip of the leg you're standing on, your outside leg is going to sway forward and back. Just feeling that nice, gentle momentum. Three, 2, 1, and down. Switch to the other side. Lifting up tall, keeping the hip of the leg you're standing on still, keeping that knee soft. Letting your leg drift back and forth. Three, 2, 1, and down. One last exercise, more of a pose than an exercise. Standing with feet hip distance apart, knees soft, tucking your belly in. Lifting tall through your spine, let your shoulders drift back, palms forward. Chin stays parallel with the floor. Lift up an inch through the crown of your head and take 3 soft, deep breaths. Letting yourself feel what your body feels like. Noticing the benefits and challenges of this class today. One more soft, deep breath. Thank you so much for participating. I look forward to seeing you again soon.